Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. See you. Wake up and rise, open your eyes. It's breakfast with the Thomases, the ultimate prize. Mental Wellness Monday, work it out Wednesday, pay it forward Friday, we're seizing the day. Digital finance, harmony of love, serving food to what those store, rising and to read and it, Eastern on P2GTV. Breakfast with the Thomases, come eat with me.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to Breakfast with the Thomases. I once again am your girl, Ruby T, and we are gonna rock out today on our Pay It Forward Friday. All right. Okay, there's so much going on in the world, and I definitely want to say Grand Rising to all my family on all platforms. It's just me today, y'all. I got the calm. I hope y'all willing to chill and rock out with us because we got some info. The world is changing, and it's time for us to be in a new position. What y'all think? We're gonna have a good conversation today. All right. I hope y'all don't mind. It's just one voice today. But Mr. Thomas is out there. He's listening, doing his thing, making sure we get things done. And hopefully we get the celestial goddess in the room to come hang out with us today. But I welcome all up to the space. How y'all doing? I got my brother Black Casper on the platform. I got I am Zakin, Ben Israel. I got you, brother. Got you, Grand Rising. We have some folks coming in from multiple platforms because we are streaming on about 5 platforms today. And I'm really excited to be in the space of all these platforms because, guys, we got to start sharing this information. Y'all know I teach digital financial literacy, and people be like, what the hell is that? Well, guess what? It's what's happening in the world. It's what you call the finance of the entire planet as of today. This is your 2026 update, preparation, and planning meeting. Well, actually, the planning meeting won't come till it's private because, like I said, the revolution will not be televised or streamed. Got you. Let's go. So with that, we're gonna hop in. We got a little bit of information we want to come bring to you guys. I'm really excited because I'm constantly finding info that gives to our community. So what's going on? We've got some really great videographers and bloggers in around the world. So I try to get some good information to pull together. So I want you all to listen. Okay, take in information. Get ready for the conversation shortly after, because this is what our community does. Welcome to welcome to Breakfast with the Thomases. Today is Pay It Forward Friday, and we pay it forward well. Let's go.
Look, this week we are watching something wild happen. Governments are literally redesigning how control works. See, I'm not talking about the obvious stuff, tanks rolling through streets or dramatic military takeovers. I mean the quiet stuff, the systems, the infrastructure, the boring administrative decisions that actually matter. Now, you have consistently told me in the comment section that we should be doing recaps of the hottest news in Africa and around the world. This week, we had 4 major stories, 4 totally different places. But once you see the connection, you can't unsee it. The Sahel, 3 countries just built their own everything: money, army, TV station. Uganda, president's son now controls who gets internet access. Yeah, seriously. And Russia, building a nuclear reactor on the moon. And no, this is not sci-fi. Rwanda shut down 10,000 churches in one move. Now, stay with me. By the end of this, you are going to see how power actually works. And it's nothing like what they taught us in school.
Nope.
But here is what nobody's asking. What happens when governments figure out they can just redesign everything? That's what we're getting into today. 4 stories that happened this week. Oh yeah, the US bombed Nigeria, but we have already made a lot of videos about that. So
What?
by the end of this video, you are going to see power
The
completely
U.S.
different. Let's
Nigeria.
go. All right, I know
Y'all
that
know
was a
that?
lot to throw at you all at once, but that's kind of the point. These stories aren't random, they are connected, and once you see how, you can't go back to not knowing. So let me slow down and break down what's
Mm.
actually happening. We will start in West Africa, where three countries just pulled off something ECOWAS couldn't do in 3 decades. December 20th, Bamako, Mali. Three military leaders just operationalized what ECOWAS couldn't do in 30 years.
Mm.
Joint military force, confederal bank, TV station, all announced in 48 hours. The alliance of Sahel states, AES, went from paper to actual functioning system, and nobody saw this coming. 2023, Niger military takeover. ECOWAS threatens military intervention. Mali and Burkina Faso say, touch them, touch us. And that's how AES was created. Everyone else said they were going to come back to ECOWAS. They didn't. They built their own thing. Now, the bank has a capital of $900 million. That's very small compared to the World Bank or even ECOWAS. But it's about the plumbing. Before, they went through ECOWAS banks, IMF,
That's right.
conditions, democracy requirements. Now, direct deals with Russia,
Russia,
China,
China.
Gulf states using gold and uranium. No
Come on.
conditions. Look, the Sahel is broke. Violence is wars. $900 million doesn't build three countries. But the
The
incentive
infrastructure.
structure changed.
That's right.
These are military regimes where failure means they are done. There is no plan B. See, in
Mm.
life, whatever you want to do, if you have a plan B,
You have
it
to,
means plan A has already failed.
you have to
When
burn the
survivors to the
ship.
line, systems get built fast. Will it succeed? Don't know, but ECOWAS is watching three former members operate completely outside its structures. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a crack in the
Come on now.
foundation. Now, speaking of controls and cracks in systems, let's talk about what happens when a government decides to control the one thing that's supposed to be uncontrollable 3 weeks before an election.
Mm.
December 19th, Kampala, Uganda. A memo leaks online, nothing fancy, just a regular customs documents from the Uganda Revenue Authority. But what it said, the internet lost its mind. Any import of Starlink technology gadgets, communication equipment, and associated components must have a clearance letter from the Chief of Defense
Mm.
Forces. The Chief of Defense Forces,
Who's that?
General Mumuzi Kainerugaba,
Woo!
who happens to be President Museveni's son. So, if you want satellite internet in Uganda, you need written permission from the president's son, who runs the military. And all this is happening 24 days before an election. You literally cannot make this stuff up. Now, let me explain why this is bigger than Uganda. Regular internet goes through cables, cell towers, a few big gateway providers. If government wants to shut it down, they literally just call three telecom companies and flip a switch. Done. And that's exactly what Uganda did in 2021. Election day comes, internet goes dark for 4 days. Opposition can't coordinate, journalists can't report, international observers can't verify anything. It worked perfectly for the government. Then Elon Musk started rolling out Starlink across Africa. Suddenly, internet bypasses all that infrastructure. It comes from satellites, goes straight to your dish. No local gateways, no off switch in Kampala. That's literally a nightmare scenario for any regime that depends on controlling information during elections. Now, here's what's new about this. Uganda is not waiting for Starlink to become a threat. They are shutting it down before it can challenge their control. In Tanzania, there was internet blackout for 5 days during election protests. Opposition claims 2,000 people were unalive while nobody could see what was happening. Ethiopia, Tigray War, internet shut down for 2 years. You see, nobody really knows what happened there. Governments learned that internet shutdowns work, but they also learned Starlink makes it way harder. So now we are in phase two. Don't wait to shut it down during the crisis. Just make it illegal to have it in the first place. Having satellite internet in Uganda right now is like having a bag of weed. So Bobby Wine, opposition leader, former musician, Museveni's main challenger, he kept it simple. Why are you so scared of people accessing the internet during elections? If they are not planning mischief, what's the fear? Fair question, right? The government's answer? It's standard national security protocol, which, okay, satellite tech does raise some regulatory questions. But why now? Why 3 weeks before voting? And why does the president's son have to personally approve every single import? See, I'm not here to tell you what to think, but I'm here to show you the pattern. When governments start regulating technologies that get around their control systems, before those technologies even become a problem, that's not security policy, that's architecture. They are redesigning how power flows. All right, so from ground level control to literally cosmic control, Russia just announced something that sounds like science fiction, but it's real. And it actually matters for everyone down here on Earth. Now, December 24th, Christmas Eve, most people are thinking about Christmas, family, gifts. Russia's space agency is thinking about nuclear reactors, the moon by 2036. Now, your first thought might be cool space exploration, very nerdy. But let me tell you why this has nothing to do with exploring moon craters. Now, here is what they said. Russia signed a space contract with this big aerospace company, Lavokchin Association, to build a nuclear power plant on the moon by 2036. What's it for? Powering the joint Russia-Chinese International Lunar Research Station, keeping rovers running, making it possible for humans to actually live there during the 336-hour lunar night. You see, solar panels don't work when the sun's gone for 2 weeks straight. Batteries die. Nuclear? That's power 24/7 for years. But okay, why should anyone in Africa or anywhere on Earth actually care about a Russian moon base? Two reasons. One, this is Russia trying to prove they are still a major space power after decades of falling behind. Remember, Russia put the first man in space, Yuri Gagarin. They dominated for decades, but lately, their Lunar 25 mission crashed in 2023, and SpaceX destroying them on launch services. China is way ahead of them. This nuclear plant is a flex. It's a signal that says we are still here. We can still do high-level engineering even with all these sanctions. Two, space capabilities translate to leverage on Earth. Now, here is what most people miss. Rosatom, Russia's state nuclear company, they are not just building reactors on the moon.
Nope.
They are building them in Egypt, Bangladesh,
Come on.
Niger, Burkina Faso,
Come on.
Nigeria. They are pitching projects all across Africa.
Mm.
When Russia shows up in your capital saying, we can build a nuclear plant in your country, and they have just built one on the freaking moon, that's not a sales pitch. That's demonstration of capability. And remember, nuclear deals aren't just about electricity. They are about geopolitical alignment, long-term dependence, technology transfer. Russian engineers training your engineers, security agreements. And we can't skip the China part. This isn't a Russian solo thing. It's a partnership with China's space program. The International Lunar Research Station is Russia China versus NASA's Artemis program.
Yep.
So, what you're
Just
watching is
examples.
space exploration split into two competing teams. Does that
You
sound
didn't get
familiar?
to do that,
It's
huh?
literally the Cold War, but on the moon. And whoever controls the energy systems up there, they get to
Hmm.
make the rules for mining, resource extraction, future lunar governance, which, by the way, affects stuff down here.
Here.
Helium 3 for fusion power, rare earth metals, water ice that can be turned into rocket fuel. The moon isn't some abstract project,
Nope.
it's the next resource frontier. Look, I'm not saying Russia will definitely pull this off.
They're gonna
Their
screw our
space
parents' planet
program
up.
had
They're already
serious
starting it.
failures. Money's tight, sanctions hurt. But here's what I'm saying. When you hear nuclear reactor on the moon,
That is
don't think science fiction. Think
no.
positioning. The countries that control
I think
off
we're
Earth
screwed.
energy infrastructure will have leverage over on Earth resource markets,
Mm.
technology standards, and who gets a seat at the diplomatic table.
Yep.
And that affects everyone, including Africa. All right, from
Come on.
space back to something more grounded. Our last story takes us to Rwanda, where President Kagame just did something that's got churches and governments across the whole continent paying very close attention. Imagine you're a pastor in Kigali, Rwanda. You've been preaching for years. Every Sunday, your church is packed. Hundreds of people, worship, music, prayers, community. And one morning you show up and your doors are padlocked. The government sealed them. No warning, no chance to appeal. That happened to over 10,000 churches in the past year
And
in Rwanda.
churches.
And President Paul Kagame, he's not apologizing. He's going even harder. Now, here is what the president said
Come
recently.
on now,
If
somebody.
it were up to me, I won't even reopen a single church. In all the development challenges we are dealing with, the wars, the country's survival, what's the role of these churches?
Mm.
Are they providing jobs? Many are just thieving. Some churches are just a den of
Wow.
bandits.
Wow.
Den of bandits. Those are pretty strong words. And he kept going. Called churches a colonial relic. He said
Yep.
Rwandans were deceived by colonizers and let
Come on,
yourselves be
somebody.
deceived. So, what's really happening here?
Mm. Mm. Dismantling
Now,
of the
the
church
government's
power.
position is actually pretty straightforward. In 2018, the government passed a law regulating places of worship. The requirements: buildings have to meet safety standards, health and hygiene codes, fire safety equipment,
Mm.
soundproofing for noise. All donations have to go through registered bank accounts.
Mm.
There should be annual plans showing how church aligns with national values. And the
Okay.
big one: every pastor needs a university level theology degree. Churches have
Mm.
5 years to comply.
Come on.
Deadline was September
September.
2023.
Did they meet
Thousands
that
didn't meet the standards, so they got shut down.
Mm.
Now, let's go a little bit deeper. Louis Getimwa, he's a lawyer, a political analyst in Kigali. He told AFP something pretty revealing. There is no rival in terms of influence. The ruling party gets uncomfortable when any organization or individual gains too much influence.
Influence.
Now, think about what he's really saying. In Rwanda, Kagame's government runs one of the tightest political systems in Africa. Opposition parties, limited. Independent media, heavily controlled. Civil society, closely monitored.
Mm.
Churches were one of the last spaces where big groups could gather. without direct government oversight,
Mm-hmm.
where pastors could speak to thousands of people,
Mm.
where money moved through networks the state didn't fully control. That's influence, and in a system that needs total control, influence outside state structures is a problem. Now, I'm not saying every single one of those 10,000 churches were perfect. The prosperity gospel stuff, plant a seed, get a miracle, where pastors fleece poor people, that's real.
Mm.
That's a problem all over Africa. But when the
Yes, it is.
president says he won't reopen the single church if it is up to him,
Mm.
that's not regulation anymore. That's
That's
ideology.
the ideology.
Kagame's framing
So,
is deliberate. He's calling churches colonial relics. And that plays into a bigger conversation happening all over Africa. Decolonization, rejecting Western influence, taking back African agency. Look, there is truth there. Churches in Africa do have complicated colonial histories. Missionaries came with Bibles and
yep.
often helped exploitation happen. Some churches were actually complicit in the 1994 genome, like actual priests and nuns participated in unaliving people. So when
Yep.
Kagame says we are regulating colonial institutions that misled our people, yeah,
Still
it
got a lot of
resonates with
support.
people.
Yes, it does.
But here is the tension. Christianity in Rwanda isn't foreign anymore.
Mm.
The 2024 census shows most Rwandans are Christian. These aren't expatriate churches. They are Rwandan pastors preaching to Rwandan congregations.
Yes, of
So when
course.
you close 10,000 of them, you are not decolonizing. You are regulating your own people's spiritual practices. That's different. So where does this go from here? Some churches have reopened after meeting the requirements. The big denominations, Anglican, Catholic, mostly they compiled without major issues. They had money, established buildings, educated
Uh-huh.
clergy. It's the
Exactly.
small Pentecostal churches, the independent movements, the ones meeting in homes and rented spaces. Those are getting crushed. And here is the question other African governments are watching closely. Can you regulate spirituality without crossing into repression?
Yep.
Because Rwanda is not alone on this. Kenya is debating similar rules.
That is a
Tanzania
question.
is tightening church registration. Uganda has been watching evangelical groups for years. The pattern? Governments across Africa are realizing that churches represent organizing people outside state control, and they are deciding whether to regulate it, co opt it, or just shut it down. All right,
Wow.
four stories, four different places, 1 week.
Come on now.
Let me connect the dots. Here's what we just watched
Woo.
happen this week. The Sahel build parallel systems, money that doesn't go through the IMF,
There you go.
soldiers who don't report to ECOWAS, media that tells a completely different story. Uganda regulated a technology before it could become a threat to election control, didn't wait for the problem, prevented it. Russia positioned itself for lunar resources decades before anyone else is ready, playing the long game while everyone fights over today. Rwanda redrew the boundaries around sacred space, showing that even churches can be brought under state control. Four totally different stories, but one pattern underneath. Governments are learning they don't have to fight systems head on, they can just redesign them. The Sahel didn't overthrow ECOWAS, they made it irrelevant. Uganda didn't ban Starlink,
Hmm.
they made it impossible to get. Russia isn't invading the moon, they are colonizing it
Come
with
on.
infrastructure. Rwanda didn't ban Christianity, they regulated who can preach.
Mm-mm.
This is the new playbook. You don't need tanks when you can control the bank. You don't need censorship when you control satellites. You don't need war when you control power sources.
Resources.
You don't need bans when you can regulate. Control isn't loud anymore, it's structural.
What this means.
So systems change faster than people realize. AES went from pact to confederation in 2 years.
Mm.
Technology creates new battlegrounds. Governments are learning to regulate threats before they materialize. Space isn't abstract. Whoever controls lunar infrastructure influences Earth markets and diplomacy. The sacred isn't untouchable.
Mm,
Spiritual places are now governance challenges. You see, I'm not here to say whether these changes are good or bad.
right.
My job is to help you see them coming. Once you see the pattern, how power's being redesigned, you can make better decisions where to invest, who to support,
That's right.
what to watch. Power doesn't announce itself, it builds quietly in banks, regulations, satellites, padlocked doors. By the time most noticed, the architecture is already built. If this changed how you see power, drop a comment. Which story hit hardest? Sahel, Uganda, Russia, Rwanda? Diaspora thinking about investing in Africa? Watch which countries build systems without Western or Chinese or Russian approval. That's where the next chapter is written. Back next week with another roundup. Until then, keep your eyes on the architecture. My name is Asomodi Biz. You're watching Africa Today, and this is the Strategic Lens. I'll see you in my next video. If you have
All right. That was Sahel. Definitely Africa Today is an amazing program that I want to just say thank you so much for those who hung out. I know this was a long one, but it was so much info. What did you get? He asked a phenomenal question. Which one of those stories hit the hardest? They hit you, struck you the hardest. So I want to just give some love in the room. Let everybody know we coming back. This is Ruby Thomas. I'm on Breakfast with the Thomases today. Today is Pay It Forward Friday. We literally give you the world on our Fridays. So I want to just give some love because we got some folks that's in the house on different platforms. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good day, Miss Thomas, Mr. Thomas. On this Friday, y'all made it. A lot of people didn't make it. It's BC, Black Cancer. I'm out here on the streets of Stereo and Clappers for this Friday. Y'all made another week, and it's Friday,
That's what's that.
Saturday. I'm out here in New York. New York, I'll be headed down. I'll be headed out of here sometime today. Hope you're having a great, wonderful Fridays.
It's Brother Black
Miss
Casper,
Thomas
y'all.
and Mr. Thomas. Jeff, I see you down there. Anybody else behind the scenes? Hope
Uh-huh.
you're having a great, wonderful Friday. I'm listening though to the Stereo Station Clappers, BC Black Casper. Have a great, wonderful weekend and make it back here on Monday. Much love, BC Black Casper.
Much love, Brother Black Casper. Thank you so much for being in the space. How y'all doing? Okay, all of those who are popping in for some information and just a cup. You know what I'm saying? A cup to be filled. That's what I'm talking about. Look, that man just talked about now, why Africa? Why is Africa, or I should say, why are these portions of the world? Because it's Africa, Russia, China. You know, I hate to say it, but I know that our illustrious president wishes he never shut that little NASA program down, right? Right. Yeah. Because now they're doing it for themselves. They're coming together. It's a whole lot that wish didn't happen now, you know, because this is not a boardroom. This is a country. It is a part of a planet. And to so-called be the commander in chief or whatever leadership you are, you're gonna have to think a little bit wider than what you used to. And I hate to say it, that coming from a chick that lives in New York. I've been here most of my life. I done been around the planet, but I know the world is bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? I'm very aware that the world is bigger than I am, and there's more going on than my visual view. Now, while making plans to do what you want to do and having vision is important, don't lose sight. It's something we got to recognize. Don't lose sight of the fact that you don't know the long term. You don't know what's down there. The elites are very comfortable with considering that they're building that, and what they're used to building, whatever it is they see. It doesn't always go that way. The question is now not on the elites. It's on the you and the me of it all. We just listened to places in the world that are starting to get in line, where they were arguing, fighting amongst themselves. They are now coordinating and pulling things in. They're pulling in the reins. They're taking examples from the world in what they call people domination. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So we listened to them. We watched how in one group of countries in Africa have completely controlled the money flow. Yes. Isn't that great? That's actually a beautiful thing. But do you know that if you are here in America, what that means for you? Y'all get that? One of the things I realized in a schoolyard bully, if they can't bully in the schoolyard, they go home and try to bully there. Y'all get that? So that's the thing about bullies. When they can't get what they want out of the world, they'll go home. Guess who's coming home? You regulate from within. You put it upon your people. When you can't go out there and fight the big guys, you come home and try to control inside. And so let's talk about this, the regulation of the money, how it flows. They talked about the IMF. The IMF is the International Monetary Fund that controls all the funds that roll out the banks, these big banks that we have out here. Did y'all know that? Did you know that the IMF controls how your banks do business internationally and where your money goes all over the place, right? Now, why would that be a big thing in Africa? Took a little while for me to learn that Africa is a continent. I didn't just learn that, I knew that, but a continent whose money, in order to do business from within the continent with other land connected countries, they had to literally have their money digitally leave the country twice before it got, leave the continent twice before it got to other countries right next door. They had to get the approval of the financial system from another continent before they could do business in a country, costing them a lot of money. How would you like your money to have to be regulated by someone in another state for you to do business with the store next door? I know, sound crazy, don't it? That's your money system. It is your current money system. You can't say nothing unless some third party you'd have never met says so. And you have to pay them to do it. Did you ask them for that? I guess so, because we don't listen, do we? We don't read. It's time to start waking up and paying attention. The next regulation was tech. Information flow. Now that, for me, that hit home because, I'm a tech chick. I've been a nerd, a blur for my whole life. I understand the necessity and the requirements. Since I was a kid, I understood how technology has changed the world. Sci-fi had always been my thing. And then as I watched the world change and these lovely science fictions become my actual realities, I understand the necessity of technology. And even more so, because I teach digital financial literacy, I understand the absolute necessity for networking, internet, and having things like technology access to a society. I spent most of my life trying to teach lower income communities how to utilize technology, not just sit there and make it a new toy. And now we teach them how to turn it into digital power, controlling your life. And this is what's going on around the world, y'all. That's how they're learning to control their people. This is the new regime. They took the war out of war and regulated it. Let's talk about it. Power resources. Now that, we go back to NASA, y'all. We go back to NASA. Yes, we got to go back to NASA. Don't they wish they didn't close NASA down? Don't they wish they didn't defund NASA? Y'all go check it out. NASA is like a great conversation now. It's like what used to happen. It's like Bill Nye the Science Guy. It ain't building nothing. There are new projects. We are not making innovations. Elon Musk and private companies are making. Wealthy people are making innovations. Our government is not fast forwarding us into the future or propelling us into the future anymore. Their focus down here. while countries around the world, continents and countries and governments have decided, well, I'm gonna show you my strength. Yeah, especially Russia, because Russia was the first to get us there. Now, I ain't gonna lie, they were the first to take humankind to the moon. First to get them out to space, first to get them to the moon. Don't get it twisted. Y'all talk about that JFK and the NASA program and this, that, and the other, and hidden figures and all of that. But I tell you, during the movie, you actually saw it. They were not the first. Russia's making a flex. And that flex is just giving evidence that they're still in the business. And since America is no longer in the business because it's a private process, y'all get that now? America isn't reaching for the stars anymore. We're trying to dig holes in the ground that's already been dug up. They've chosen to leave the planet and go get those rare minerals, because rare earth minerals are starting to cause problems. Y'all get that? People starting to get sick. We got to have a place to stand. We're going to live down here. Starting to figure out you can't drill and live at the same time. Well, you know what? What did our illustrious so-called president say? Drill, baby, drill. Notice those projects haven't picked up just yet. Who will be left to drill on a planet that has been contaminated by sources that should have never been on the surface? Come on, somebody. Who will you sell to when you kill off most of the planet and it becomes a toxic waste? Well, the elites are going to do what the elites do. They've been building space stations for decades. They've been moving. Why do you think SpaceX exists? What was the blue something? I forget what the name of the other project. Guys, you haven't been paying attention? They're leaving you here on the planet they dig up to sell in the universe outside. We're looking to leave this place, right? And it's not as far-fetched because it's possible. We made sure the tech keeps getting built. Let's go. Last portion, power source. You cut that power source. You make yourself the accessor. They said, fine, we don't have to go to war. We don't need nuclear power to threaten you. We just need nuclear power to replace anything. Oh, by the way, we're going up so that we can just control you getting access to the sun. I know, sounds like conspiracy theory, but how many of those conspiracy theories in the last 5 to 10 years have y'all noticed have become real? Yeah, all you gotta do is dig, just read. Just gotta read. Some of y'all can watch television and just tell. Crazy, ain't it? Let's go. We have a bubble. I want to make sure we pop our bubbles. Here we go. Ah, my brother. And we'll get to the last conversation after this one.
Shalom, Miss Thomas. Beautiful, very interesting show this morning. I found that amazing. You know, I haven't listened to you in quite a while. So I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank
you. I appreciate this show. It could have been louder, though, you know.
Oh, sorry.
It was difficult to listen to.
Oh.
It was a strain, but we made it through.
Yeah, deep voice.
And we found it very empowering and very enlightening.
Yes.
I just want to thank you for all you do, the effort you put forth, and the butter you spread. All right. Shalom.
Shalom, my brother. Grand Rising. We got one more. Bubba, I want to make sure I always give love to it.
Okay. Shalom again. Listen, I just want to say when I said it was hard to hear, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about the PowerPoint. All right. God bless you.
Yeah.
Shalom.
Okay. He was talking about the video, and honestly speaking, apologies. I had to turn it down a little. It was, I think the sound is a little off today. I thank you all for being on and just sticking with that. Those who might have had trouble hearing it, I hope you got it. That is the point. You getting the information is the point. And actually, I will, if you need me to, I will send you that link that is up on YouTube. It is free. I absolutely love that program. Africa Today is something that we all should be looking at because it's an exposure to more than where we sit and the actual board we're literally playing on. Most of us don't know that you live on someone else's board. You're actually a pawn, a rook, a knight, king, or queen. You have to choose because it has been chosen at your birth for you. And until you stop moving in someone else's patterns that they're moving you, you will consistently struggle wondering why you're being moved along the board you don't recognize. Why your life is difficult because it was actually strategically planned for you that way. Guys, we get look. I want P2G is not just a conversation. P2G is our website. We have these conversations every Sunday. We do free conversations on Wednesday with the community. It's a community action meeting where we bring this stuff to the forefront. You have to know what's happening. How we look at it is through data, the markets. That thing y'all all, oh my God, here she go. The real markets of the world tells us how it's moving. Most times the news in your community will not tell you what you need to know to survive your own community because it's too busy supporting the plan, the one that was written for your life. Because no one wants you to know that there's an option. Got a question. How many of y'all told your children that there was an option to having sex when they were younger? There was no damn option. Y'all know that. Hell, there wasn't no option for dinner when I was a kid. How about y'all? How many of y'all grew up like that? I know your mama wasn't making you whatever you wanted. She made dinner, you ate that. See, we were all brought up that way, given very few options for a reason, because human beings, or I should say, people are not considered smart. A person is smart, but people are scared, they're angry, and they're vicious. Overall, in groups, that is how our government sees us. That's why you must be governed. It is time for us to pick up the staff of self-governing. And the only way to properly self-govern is if you become aware. You have to become self-aware of what is going on around you to be able to make choices and decisions and take action in ways that help you. Welcome to Breakfast with the Thomases. That's this conversation every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And you are all always welcome to it. But I want to make sure we understand something amongst ourselves. This is a community. It takes the back and forth. It takes the information. It takes questions. It takes all of us to step up and start making actions. And don't just try to come here. Look, P2G created Breakfast with the Thomases to bring people into the family conversations that you're not having at home. That maybe you have in a community, but nothing gets done. You tired of politicians talking stuff that you never see to where you stop voting. Are you crazy? To where you stop even go. You don't want to deal with that because you're too busy struggling for the money, not knowing that the money game is already a wrap. You just didn't know it. You weren't taught it. That's why we invite y'all to free Wednesday nights. That's why we say, come on, and we throw up the QR code and tell you, hey, come out. Come sit and let's have this new conversation. Let's be real about it. Let's put these plans together. Like I told you, it will not be televised or streamed. It's going to be on time that you usually, I'm just chilling. I just chilling from work. What happens when you have no time to chill from work? Because there was a time that is coming soon for all of my workers. I don't care if y'all have a union, you better go suck up everything they got right now. Anybody who has a union option better jump in because you about to lose the structure, the foundation that unions set for all jobs. Your 8-hour day came from the formation of unions. Because the way the elites are going, we going back to business, baby. So work day is 12-12. You're going to be working around the clock, killing yourself for the least amount, no benefits. Not required. You want a benefit, you got to pay for it yourself. Oh, everyone goes, yeah, we got a union. I pay for my benefits. I pay for my benefits. No, you don't. Not like you think you do. I'm trying to tell you right now. Y'all need to learn it. Y'all need to study history, the real history of this country, not the one that says there were slaves and masters and this and that. Y'all better go into the real history of how this freaking country was built, because this country has been sending out its plan. Go back to England. You better go back to the motherland. And I ain't talking about Africa. I'm talking about the dominant nations that created the system that builds on top of your life. Why you feel like this thing is a struggle? Because you were trained to struggle and like it, which goes into the last portion of that conversation, controlling the gatherings in church and churching. Come on, somebody. You want to talk about the final? How did King accomplish what he accomplished? Yes. Churches. Churches are the one place, the one sacred place we have to meet that government does not control, because it goes against, in this country, it goes against your constitutional rights. Freedom of to assemble and freedom of religion. That means no one has the right to tell you what your religion is. That's the Constitution. Freedom. But in this country, all religions are welcome. Now, as far as respected, that's a whole nother thing. Respect is different than having to actually allow. Yeah. You can have a religion. You don't have to have a religion. You can have the most hated religion on the planet. You just can't do them practices everywhere. There are laws and limitations. But a court of law will recognize your freedom of your religious rights if properly executed in a court of law. Why are they doing this around the world? Why are they banning it? Why are they regulating it? Why are they telling you if your church doesn't meet up to certain standards? They are this close from telling you what your church can actually do inside as a functioning church. People, let me explain something to you. When that happens, they're now telling you how to think. They're telling you what you can think. Now, while I understand decolonization becoming a necessity, because colonization has been what's a huge part of the foundation of this problem that we all are facing as a people. We have to deal with the aftermath. There's no way to turn back the hands of time, no matter how hard you try. And why would you try? We need to move forward anyway. Now it's time for something else. But no, they want to go back to regulating. Y'all see that? Regulating. That is power. It's just a power move. It's control. So we just got the playbook for government to completely control. Now, like I tell you right now, he said it, I'm going to say it. I'm not here to tell you how to feel about it. I'm telling you what's going down in the world and how it even equates here on this side of the planet. I tell you, I might be a little sarcastic about it, but I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm not going to play you. It's time for us to get new information, start making some new moves and coming together in a new way. You now have the access that most that apparently certain countries don't have. They don't have access to what's needed. And when they say internet, they say the satellite internet is because the terrain that they're on is required for that kind of internet. They don't have the technology infrastructure for any other sort. So internet, it from the satellites gave them final connection. Now that can be a plus or a minus for that location. Today, the race is for technology and education. And when you limit your people to that, You limit your opportunity in a world, not just where you live. You limit the opportunity for your spaces to grow. So sometimes we cut off our nose to spite our face, don't we? Or it might seem. Our case, it's time to start learning about what's happening around the world so we don't make the same mistakes. Also, learning our history properly. Too many of us don't actually use the access we have. And speaking of which, my brother, I gotta look. I love the people I invite. I actually include myself in being around. I surround myself with thinking folks, but I'm for sure the one who lets them know. Okay, now we thought about it, we talked about it. What we gonna do? I'm the action chick. So in that instance, I always got something to do. And there for you is the same thing. There's always a call to action for this, y'all. Always a call to action. So don't get it twisted and think that this is a conversation and that's it. Oh, she just talking. I tell everybody, you got two choices: come to the meeting or come to class. I don't do multi-level marketing. I'm not selling you any product. Education is the key. It is the key to every bit of your success. Learning new systems, learning strategies, recognizing how to find information, research, how to use the tools that are out here. You want to learn how to be scared, stop being scared of AI, learn to wield it. Learn how to move it and help it move your life. Then how about you do this? Learn to create partnerships with people who actually have information and build. But you got to remember, be careful. All partners ain't partners. That's the other thing you got to learn. Learn to get your contracts right. Learn to get your paperwork right. Then learn how to represent yourself in conversation. We have developmental issues out here. Folks out here think you could just act the way you want to act, communicate how you want to communicate, and not have consequences. Some of us aren't as smart as we think we are. So our lives reflect that, and so do our businesses. Our goal is to help each one teach one how to do something we didn't know before. I am blessed to have amazing folks with different levels of knowledge, training, and education, experience, who are willing to teach me because I'm willing to learn. I'm teachable. One of the things I want you guys to recognize is that we have this program every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can come on and check it out. Wednesdays are becoming new things I want to share with you. Our goal is to start to share you all. Reach out. What I will be doing in the next weeks, so as of today, you will see on all of our streams, we will start posting an invitation to be on our Work It Out Wednesdays. I want us to share what we do with each other, and so we are willing to interview different business owners, people who have different projects, come from different parts of life. If you have things going on you want the community of the world to know, then come on Breakfast with the Thomases on Wednesdays. Ask for our sign-up sheet. We have Wednesdays. There are 360. Sorry, my bad. My husband told me. All right, there are 52 Wednesdays in a year. We now have approximately 50 left. And our first guest starts next Wednesday. And I'm really excited. So look for our advertisement, okay? And look for what's going on in this platform, because every Wednesday is going to be a new, beautiful face coming in here, having great conversations, teaching you what's available, showing you what's going on. I want everyone from the entire planet. I don't care what time in the morning it is for you. Get in here on Breakfast with the Thomases and show off what you do. Because until we start seeing each other, we can't do work with each other. We can't change the world until we know who in the world is there. And so come on out. I'm really excited. We will definitely do our vetting of businesses. We really do not promote multi-level marketing programs. That is not something that's a part of the strategy. If you have something that's a direct service or good, we got you. But if you have something that requires someone else to pay into for you to get paid, other than a direct service, I can't help you, baby. That is not what we do. We are not here to build someone else's business. We're here to build your dream. We're here to help you grow your dream, your structure, your skill set, the long term, the stuff you can actually pass down to your children, and to teach that we have what it takes to build generational wealth. So come to class, come into our platform. P2G Networks is a free platform. All membership on the website, current website, is free. That's the membership for the website. Our class membership, y'all see we have actual paid memberships. They're monthly. Come join us. Right now, the 2025 yearly is still up because we're in session 10, and you all can join in session 10 now. That goes until March. Once March hits, we're in 2022 payment schedule. You guys can do it on Klarna, whatever. I'm learning how to make this available. But the information on how to build finances in a technical age is not something you can put on the back burner. Learning how to use technology effectively, set it up, protect it, is not an option. It is a requirement, and it has already begun. Where you get that information is up to you. We are just offering it in a community setting. We want to know what you do, what you up to, what you trying to create, because we're trying to be a part of a growing world and community. We'll see you soon, and we look forward to seeing you guys on Breakfast with the Thomases. Back here on Monday, y'all. That's what's up. All right. And with that, since my brothers, oh, I got some love in the house. I got to give them some love. So Black Casper still with us, y'all. Oh, yeah. Brother I Am Zakin. Yes, yes, is in the house. And also our brother Goobaloo. Goob, I got up a little bit late today, so I'm going to tell you, I have not seen the market today. I'm really digging and loving it. I did go to bed and see it. See, every day I take the time to look at what's happening in the world. The numbers don't lie. So don't you start acting like you don't have a choice. We just gave you one with a welcoming invitation. Each and every one of y'all. Go to p2gnetworks.com and let's connect. We'll see you soon. It's never easy to complete this program. Oh my gosh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. See, now I don't even know what's going on. See y'all soon. Peace out, family.